gonna learn today.
Share the live feed, please. Share the live feed. We'll be getting started right here in a few minutes. Welcome to Conscious Fever with Karl Price Esquire. Y'all know how we do.
Walk in a room and the floor go
gon' shake for the quake in my footsteps. And the fans go nuts, do whatever I want, cause the band's on the guest list. And I'm all in it, ID with a bomb in it, Bombay with a straw in it, no stains, it's all in it, all fitted, all gifted, any cup but we bout it, puffin' trees we clouded, show my stride like Usain, these dope bars I maintain, my whole clique got a full clip, if it's in our sights we aim to shoot, we don't lose like MJ.
That's cool. Testing. All right, if you're logging on, please share the broadcast tonight.
I don't really know where my story begins, but for you it's right here, checking the quotes on my girl head spin. Even though it's right here, but you can keep tabs on the life that I live. The friends I gave up in your eyes have a grip. So I can tell you that life don't get better than this, but you'll take what I say and you'll give it a twist till it fits in your pictures, like they did with the scriptures. History repeats itself, it won't miss you. Best believe it won't miss you. Time will not stop for your health, it'll get you. The reaper will get you. No matter your status, your wealth is a bitch, bro. This life is a bitch, but it's beautiful, ain't it?
Welcome to Conscious Fever with Karl Price on 97thebeatfm.com.
Good evening. Welcome to Conscious Fever here on 97thebeatfm.com. I am Karl Price, your host. Post the 4th of July, DJ Ice.
Yes, fireworks. Blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely. I'm here tonight. My co-host tonight is, of course, no other than DJ Ice. I guess I've got 3 cameras here. I've got 3 cameras, 3 cameras, and 1 monitor. And the main monitor is telling me that my mic is too far in my face, so I've got to move some things around. But welcome to Conscious Fever. Thanks for tuning in tonight. No, I'm good. I think it's this one here. But I'm good. But this is Conscious Fever here on 97thebeatfm.com. I'm Karl Price, your host, the one and only. Thank you for joining us tonight. We've got a very interesting show tonight. I think you've seen the tag. You have read the tag if you're on my Facebook Live page. Do me a favor, share this broadcast tonight. This is going to be a very interesting and informative broadcast. I think I say that every week, right, DJ Ice? This is going to be an interesting broadcast. Yeah,
well, it'd be true. Every one of them be interesting and informative.
Yeah, I think last week was pretty interesting.
Yes, and let Mr. Yah know that looks like the
money tree.
Plant, yeah, it look like it's growing.
Money tree is
but it ain't growing in my pocket though yet, man.
I'm not sure if it's supposed. Well, it's green. I mean, maybe it will grow in your pocket. I'm not sure, but it's a green plant he left last week. If any of you all caught the show last week, it was John Yah, and he gave us some very interesting information about health and just being wealthy, healthy. Basically, just being wealthy, healthy, if you know what that's all about and if you know what that means. That's just a simple task of taking care of yourself and taking care of your body and, of course, looking as good as I do at my age. So, anyway, I'm not going to cut up tonight. I am going to do this show and try to get out of here because I'm still reeling from the... trying to recover from the 4th of July
hangover.
Yeah, hangover. We barbecued. We didn't barbecue with charcoal. That's a part of the essence of this show tonight. Is if yesterday on the 4th of July you ate barbecue from a charcoal grill, you probably filled your body with carcinogen, which is cancerous. So hello, Dante. So just FYI, that's why I don't use charcoal. I use a gas grill, and that is much, much better and much, much healthier. So in any case, but we're going to be talking about cancer and why some people get cancer a second time. Just my testimonial, all right? Hopefully you all will find this somewhat informative. But maybe you all can take some of the notes that I give you tonight and just move forward with it. Maybe you find yourself just feeling a little bit better and being a lot more healthier because that's what it's all about. quite candidly, in the real world. I mean, we're all going to die one day because that's God's will. But while we're here on this earth, we can enjoy ourselves. And we don't have to worry about, when we get up in age that's a problem, that we have to give up. There is not a cane or a wheelchair waiting for you simply because you have reached the big 5-0. I just want to let you guys know that. If you all believe that, then you believe that you're going to run yourself and your body into the ground. I got some interesting quotes here, DJ Ice. I ran across this book when I was just cleaning off my desk earlier, and it's a book called Success, Quotes for Achievers, from the publisher of Success Magazine. And it says, one of the quotes at the beginning, it says, "It takes less work to succeed than fail." Less work to succeed than fail. Whatever that means.
Because if you're not doing the work, you're failing.
Then you're failing.
So it's like double.
Right.
So less work is more failure.
Absolutely.
I get it.
Yep.
I get it.
And, the real measure of your wealth is how much you'd be worth if you lost all your money. Yeah. Okay, Ramona Courtney. Amen to that, too. Yeah, for what it's worth. But we're going to talk about wealth and health, being wealthy with your health tonight. I think a lot of you all know that I'm a stage 4 cancer survivor, 8 years. Thank God. It's God's will that I'm going to reach my 10-year mark and be cancer-free and no more chemo, none of that stuff. So from 2010, actually, this is July. Actually, in 2010, 8 years ago today, I was inpatient in the Norton Cancer Institute, going through some aggressive chemo, trying to get rid of stage 4 cancer. That's if you believe that I had cancer. I mean, there are some reports out there that there are many people that are misdiagnosed, and the ones that successfully recover probably never had it anyway. So maybe I never had it anyway. I don't know. But if I did, thumbs up to Dr. Arshard and the Norton Cancer Center, because you guys did a wonderful job. And if I didn't have it, shame on you.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Because
I saw.
Did you see it?
Oh, yeah.
You saw it, DJ Ice?
I was there.
I lost my dreads.
Yeah.
I lost my weight. Lost a lot of weight. My color.
Hair.
Eyebrows.
Yeah,
I actually lost every piece of hair on my body except a few strings of my eyebrows. Maybe y'all can see that I got thick eyebrows and lost those eyebrows. And but I'm
and
here.
you was real dark. Did you know that?
I did not know that I was dark.
Man.
I thought I was lighter.
No.
I was dark.
I couldn't. I just couldn't.
So I looked dead.
I praise Mama, because she sat there the whole time.
The whole time, yeah.
But I couldn't. I mean, it got to the point to where it was really bad, man.
Yeah, I was dark. I mean,
Yeah.
my skin pigmentation was dark. Well,
Yeah.
according to our guest last week, then I probably increased my melanin and all of that, melatonin and all of that in my body. Now, I'm just joking, but but yeah. Cancer had a hold on me. But before we get into that discussion, DJ Ice, we're going to talk about the latest news. And some of the latest news, I was just cheating on my phone here, looking at it. The hoodlum, the thug that was running the EPA in Washington, D.C., finally stepped down. He finally realized that he was a thug, and it was just time for him to go. His name is Scott Pruitt. And I know I went to high school with some Pruitts, and Pruitt is actually not a black name. This guy's white, and his last name is Pruitt. But Scott Pruitt, and I say that because in Louisville, when busing started, if your last name began with a P, you had to, you didn't get bussed. So you had an opportunity to go to your neighborhood school, unless you went to one of those pay me a lot of money schools, where they recruit black athletes just for their agility and seldom for their academic prowess. Maybe some they do. I don't know. I know, but I understand that St. X does a horrible job at that. They're recruiting kids in elementary school. How do you recruit a child in elementary school for an athletic contest when he gets in high school?
They go off potential.
They go off potential.
Yeah,
like bloodlines, like horses and stuff like that.
Yeah. Because, yeah.
That's crazy. That's what they used to do back in the slave days. Back in the days of slavery, they would just
breeder.
Like, yeah, they would say, well,
the hard-working guy.
He's from Leroy, and Leroy was a good man in the field. Because Leroy was a good man in the field, his son's probably going to be good, and his daughters are going to be some good gals in the house. So I'm not going to use the N word tonight because I know some people get offended by that. But in any case, the latest news is that Scott Pruitt, it says in one of the reports, it says that he lost his job as EPA chief. I don't know really what that means. All I know is that he's gone and he should be gone. And the reason he should be gone, but he was just a thug, DJ Ice. He was just a thug running the EPA. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing to me. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Miss Thompson. Take it for what it's worth. Play the game and get a good education. I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm just saying too. Absolutely. But I'm not sure what that means, Miss Thompson. You're gonna have to break that down to me. Maybe
Gotta call in.
Yeah, call in and break that down to me, Miss Thompson. I'm not sure if I know what that means. What you just said. Just take it for what it's worth. Play the game and get a good education. See, all the other shows.
Use them. Don't let them use you.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. I get it, Mr. DJ Ice broke it down to me.
Yeah, I was an athlete, so they try to use me too.
Right. I mean, I was an athlete too. I mean,
he was a great track star.
Yeah, I was
a lot of people don't know
star.
that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that I was a track star. I was a very good track star. I had thighs bigger than my leg, back in the day. That's why I was able to run that 400-meter dash the way I did. But Scott Pruitt was just a thug in running the EPA. I think a lot of the people that the president appoints are just thugs running the EPA. I mean thugs running these various cabinets. It's pretty embarrassing, pretty embarrassing. But in any case, that's the latest news. He's gone, and hopefully he will never come back. Because you know what he was doing, right, DJ Ice? He was actually taking trips. He was taking trips to like places like Dubai and Germany. I mean, and these were not business trips. I mean, who in the hell wants to hear an explanation that you went to Dubai to try to improve the environment in the United States on a government dime?
Wow.
I mean, he would go to places like that on government planes and fly his family around. If he wanted to do some shopping in London, he would just get on a government military plane and have them fly him around and all of that.
Had Obama and Michelle did that.
Oh yeah.
They would have lost it.
Yeah, we don't really want to get into that because if the Obamas had done that, then it's a lot. I mean, it's not. What's good for the goose is not necessarily good for the gander because you see what Mitch McConnell's doing now. And there's the Supreme Court. Justice Kennedy is leaving the court, the United States Supreme Court, and as he leaves the court, it's going to give the current president. The one that's from Russia, but that's in our White House. It's going to give him an opportunity to appoint another Supreme Court justice, and this person is probably going to kill the whole ideal of the swing vote on the Supreme Court. So in any case, I mean, I don't know why I started saying that because I was leading to something else, but again, maybe because. Although I didn't have Carcinogen barbecue yesterday, I did have some barbecue yesterday, some barbecue chicken. Actually, my son and I, we barbecued chicken. We did some baked chicken. We did some, what else did we do? Oh, he wanted some hot dogs, so we did some hot dogs. And we did a ribeye and 2 T-bone steaks. And, that's what we had. And I didn't, of course, I did eat a steak. I'm a just confess. I did eat some red meat yesterday, only because I just thought that it was that I could. I told one of my buddies, one of my white lawyer friends, that he said, "What are you doing for the 4th of July?" I said, "I'm going to hang out with Colin Kaepernick, and we're going to kneel all day." But that's not what I did. I actually honored the flag. Many of you all don't know that I have the American flag hanging outside of my house, proudly hanging outside of my house, because I'm a proud American. So anyway, but that's the latest news. I'm not going to really talk that much about it. I'm just glad that Scott Pruitt is gone. I'm glad he's done stealing from the American people. Going back to where you came from, Scott Pruitt, you never should have been head of that EPA anyway, that cabinet anyway. So we were talking about, there's another part of the show, where we do the nut hole. I'm just going to call it nut hole. I'm not going to, because I know I have some tender ears listening to the show, and I just don't want to really get into using too much explicit profanity and just being vulgar. But the nut of the week, of course, is the nut hole of the week is unfortunately another police officer that another police shooting again. So I don't want to keep advertising that, but that's something that happened, and it keeps happening. I don't know why. Do you guys know why that happens? Why that continues to happen? Is it institutionalized? Is it lack of training? I think I had said on the show at one point that maybe it was the lack of training, and I don't know, because all of them don't do that. I mean, there are some really, 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 really outstanding police officers on the police force in all the law enforcement agencies across this country. I don't know about some of these small towns where they hire their cousins and their third cousins and their fifth cousins and their second cousins, and they hire them if they're not sleeping with them. I guess in the small towns, Kentucky. I don't know. Sorry if I offend somebody, but in any case. So we're gonna. You all have seen the tag. You all have seen the topic tonight. And the topic tonight. Well, first of all, let me just say a couple of things before I talk about the topic tonight. Before we go to this break, we have been very, very busy, editing previous shows, and they are going to be posted here on this Facebook page. So look for them. There's a really good portion. When Judge Sean Delahanty was here, DJ Ice, we really had a lot of fun. When I go back and look at that footage and we're editing that footage, I say, wow, that was a lot of fun. And the Rolling Stones and Big Sky Country guy, Chris Whitford, or I can't, Chris Whitley. That song. And then the second time he came, it was Santana, and it was Miles Davis and all of that. Mm-hmm. So it's really good stuff. But a couple of things that are coming up. One, I want to let you guys know that I am extending a personal invitation to anybody here in the Louisville area and the surrounding areas who are interested in coming to Oak Grove Missionary Baptist Church the week of August the 8th and August the 11th. August the 8th is a Wednesday. August the 11th is a Saturday, and August the 12th is a Sunday. There are two services on Sunday. It is our pastor's first anniversary. Pastor Reverend Alice French Johnson, and this is her first anniversary. She is doing an outstanding job there. Again, in case I don't do it at the end of the show, I'm extending an invitation. Come and see us on Sunday at 41st and Vermont here in Louisville. It's a wonderful show, and there's, actually, it's not a show, but it's a wonderful church. We have a wonderful time praising God, and I would tell you that there's nowhere else in this city but Oak Grove Missionary Baptist Church where right before the sermon starts, there is this Psalms 27 presentation. And it is so powerful. And one day I'm going to record it and just get it and just bring it here and just show it on my page just so you all can see how powerful that is. But it is extremely powerful. So you'll Oak Grove Missionary Baptist Church, every Sunday service starts, there's one morning service at 11 a.m., but on October the 12th, there's going to be two services, 11 a.m. and 4 p.m., and we're going to have the guests at 11 a.m. is going to be Dr. George French, who's the president of HBCU Miles College down in Fairfield, Alabama. He's doing an outstanding job at Miles College. He's a preacher. He's a lawyer. I think he's working on his PhD now. Very, very well educated young man, and very, very talented, and a really, really good preacher also. Also, if you're not doing anything, August the 11th, come join us for the pastor and the first gentleman. We say first gentleman because we have a female pastor. First gentleman's celebration. And some say it's a banquet, but it's not really a banquet. It's a celebration. We don't use banquet anymore. It's a celebration. And we're celebrating her first year anniversary there at the church. And tickets are $25 for adults. But I think you're going to have a wonderful time because I'm going to be doing the media presentation. I'm head of the media ministry there. So, come and join us. The other thing is, whatever it was, DJ Ice, I have forgotten it.
I'll be in Alabama probably August 11th, but I'll be back on the 12th, and I'm going to probably make the afternoon service.
The afternoon service is the Ebenezer Baptist Church is going to come join us.
Okay.
And their choir, their minister, Reverend White. So, please come join us. And you all are always welcome to come and join us at Oak Grove Missionary Baptist Church, 41st in Vermont, deep in West Louisville. And I call it Oak Grove's Corner. So if you all have never visited the church, you all may want to visit the experience. A very, very powerful pastor that gives very, very powerful sermons. And also, let me remind you, July the 7th, that's this weekend,
Saturday,
right?
Yeah,
this Saturday.
Mimi, she's hyped too, man.
Lovely Mimi is going to be in town.
She is
all
hyped.
You guys out there, and I guess girls too.
Yeah, a lot of girls. That's who really, really likes her.
That's who really, really like all the women. Okay, well, lovely Mimi live at Big Mike's Comedy Blast, July the 7th. Special guest is going to be Daryl Dam and M. Brown and Chris Crowder. You've seen some of these people on VH1 and Love and Hip Hop. July the 7th, the doors open at 7 p.m. The show starts at 8:30 p.m. $20 in advance, $25 at the door. Hilton Garden Inn at the Hilton Garden Inn Airport here in Louisville, Kentucky. That's Big Mike's Comedy Blast. Lovely Mimi is going to be here in Louisville live. So, and if all of y'all that like Mimi, and I know it's a lot. Come on by.
A whole lot.
It's probably going to sell out, so you better get your tickets. Get them now. Get them now. I just saw another alert about Scott Pruitt. We are about done with Scott Pruitt of the EPA.
Yes.
So anyway, but this show tonight, DJ Ice, is about cancer, and we're going to talk about why some people continue. Why does it come back for some people, and why some people continue to get it, and why others don't. I'm going to give you all my testimony about. Basically, this is going to be sort of a testimonial about why I feel that it hasn't come back to me, and I'm not going to say yet ever that it's never going to come back to me because of some changes that I made in my life and my diet, consistent with what we heard last week on the show with John Yah. So we're going to take our first break. Yeah, I mean it was very informative, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I learned a lot.
Yeah, yes, it's very informative. He can be very controversial.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he can be. I was a little bit shocked at how restrained he was, because I mean he can be extremely controversial, and I think he let a little bit of it out when he said that that any race of people who would bring themselves to enslave another race of people, must be the devils and everything. And I thought he was going to just keep going with that, but he didn't.
Yeah, he calmed down a little bit.
Yeah, I think he calmed down. He was a little strained last week.
I think he wanted to make sure he get an invite back.
Right, absolutely. Well, he was going to get an invite, an invite back anyway. I'm not sure if the callers were going to call in and talk about him, but and he can stand that too. I mean. But he's a very, very well educated man when it comes to melanin, serotonin, melatonin, and all of that, and what's going on in our brains, and just different things like that. So just FYI. But anyway, we're going to take this first break here on Conscious Fever here on 97thebeatfm.com. Right after this break, I'm going to come back and we're going to talk to you about this whole idea about second cancers, why some people get it, why some people don't. We'll be right back right after these messages.
Hey, this is your girl, the queen of cool comedian Kim Vaughn, inviting you to come hang with us at the Cool People Party.
And this is your main man, comedian Cassell Williams, Memphis finest, your Royal Highness.
Hey, yo, it's your boy,
Louisville's finest, DJ Ice.
Listen, every Monday from 8 to 10 p.m., we want you to tune in and party with us. You can hear us right here on 97 The Beat
FM.com.
And make sure you tune in on 97thebeatfm.com. Click on live TV to see us. Or you can call in 502-384-6483. Cool People Party.
One more time, 97thebeatfm.com.
Welcome back to Conscious Fever, hosted by Karl Price on 97thebeatfm.com.
Oh. I'm sorry. I came back and I was not ready.
You got caught up in the live.
I did get caught up in the line, and probably one of the reasons I did because I just saw there's a note, there's a tag here that says, do you want to tag Rob Sherman in this video? And so I try to tag Rob. I don't really hear from Rob that much. Rob, when I was doing underwear modeling in Los Angeles about 20 years ago or so.
You did underwear modeling?
I did. I was an underwear model, yeah. And I was stationed out in Los Angeles, but I lived here, and I would take those red-eye flights. Not really red-eye flights, but I'd take those flights out to Los Angeles and come back. And it was right as I got my bar license and my practice started to pick up. So I just stopped because I just realized that, now I can be on the high road as a new lawyer as opposed to being on the low road, low totem pole out in Los Angeles doing the modeling stuff. And they had a lot of photo shoots in West Hollywood and Hollywood Hills and different things like that. But Rob Sherman was a young guy, a young kid. I'm going to call you a young kid, Rob. Rob was a young kid at the time. And he was an aspiring actor and an aspiring model, and actually has done very good for himself. He was actually a spokesperson for the Men's Warehouse.
That's good.
Yeah, I used to see him on some of the commercials. And Rob is actually from a big family like I am.
Good job, Rob.
Yeah, he's a big family, and I'm not sure where Rob is now. I think he may be still up in the New York area, but he was originally from Michigan. Good kid, but we had a mutual friend, and that was our publicist, and his name was Kenneth Reynolds, and Kenneth passed away. Passed away. I think I mentioned it on the show here. Kenneth passed away a couple of months ago, and it was just a complete void for a lot of us, because I would tell you that Ken Reynolds was a pioneer in Hollywood, in Black Hollywood for sure, and with everything that he was doing. So I would tell you that he is truly missed. So Rob, thanks for joining the show tonight. So anyway, let's talk about this ideal about cancer, and what do you need to do to make sure that it doesn't come back? And I'm going to tell you some stuff that the doctors are not going to tell you, okay? Because I'm not sure, DJ Ice, if I really believe the conspiracy theories that, often you hear that doctors are not going to tell you the right stuff because they make money from the medication and different things like that. I actually believe that there are doctors out there who really care. I really do believe that. So I'm not sure if I would go so far as to say that a doctor will give somebody chemotherapy when they really don't need it, although I have heard cases. You know, because you heard about that guy that was playing doctor down in Florida, the young black guy.
Oh, wow.
You remember that? Oh, man.
Yeah.
He was 19 years old. Now, but you know what? I mean,
they should have known.
I'm sorry. I mean, if a 19-year-old comes to me and
they
says,
thought he was Doogie Howser or something.
Doogie Howser. So I mean, Doogie Howser's on TV. That stuff is not real. I mean, so if you think that this guy at 19 years old is a doctor and you let him examine you or touch your body and all of that, you probably ought to be sick. You probably ought to be medicated. I mean, that's just ridiculous. But in any case, I guess if you have a doctor like that, then maybe you would have some reservations about his credentials and different things like that. Hi, Kelsey. How you doing? But in any case, but I didn't have a doctor like that. I had a very, very good cancer doctor at the Norton Cancer Institute, and I'm not getting paid by the Norton Cancer Institute to say this, but they did an outstanding job. In fact, I was at a black accountings. There's a black accountings camp for teenagers and high schoolers and those that are freshmen and sophomores in college at the University of Louisville. And it was at the University of Louisville this past week. My son was a part of it. My godson was a part of it. And one of my chemo nurses was there. And, of course, I had to give her my blessings because, of course, without her, I wouldn't be here. So I'm doing fine, Kelsey. How are you doing? Now, you're going to talk to me about this whole show. So, I mean, if you want to talk to us, you can call in at 502-384-6483. You can give us a call. But if you think I'm going to watch this monitor every time you post a question, Kelsey, I'm probably not going to do that. But I still love you, and I still appreciate you watching. And I keep responding to what you say.
Share the video, please.
But definitely share the video. So here's the thing. Let me just tell you all, and I may have said this on some previous shows, but some of you all may not have logged in at that time, so I'm going to just let you know now. And I know those shows have not been video streamed yet. I will tell you all that back in 2010, this time in 2010, I was inpatient at Norton Cancer Institute here in Louisville. I had stage 4 cancer. I was diagnosed at the end of April after having a hernia surgery. Not sure why they did not catch it there when they did the blood work, because one of the easiest ways to tell whether you have cancer is your white blood count, right? And if my white blood count was compromised during the hernia surgery, maybe they should have said, hey, look, there's something going on with you, but they didn't do that. So I really believe that right before I had the hernia surgery, because they have you do a blood test and do all this blood work before before they cut on you. And before my hernia surgery, apparently everything was okay, or maybe it was not. Maybe they said it was okay. But that was the case. Now, Eric, I just wear shades because it's just the signature part of my show. He posted that. He said that office has light so bright, gotta wear shades, and he started laughing. Now I just wear shades, Eric, because I look good in shades, man. I mean, I mean, it is what it is. But in any case, so in 2010, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go. And actually, end of April of 2010, I took leave from from being a prosecutor, and I did not return until January 2011 because I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And here's how it went down before we get into how you can keep yourself from this stuff if you ever get it, and how you keep it from coming back. Here's how it went down. Very, very interesting story. I was on my way to Washington, D.C. for a conference, for about a 4 or 5 day conference. I think I was leaving on Wednesday, and I was going to come back on Sunday. And actually, it was the 80th anniversary of the National Pan-Atlantic Council. And I used to work myself to death back back then. So I'm going to tell you all the things that you probably shouldn't do that would lead up to it. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. So in any case, so what happened was my flight got delayed. And, if ever you all think that things don't happen for a reason, you probably need to check yourself, because everything happens for a reason, man. Everything happens for a reason. Let me be the first to tell you that everything, I'm trying to get this mic right for one camera. Maybe I'll get it right. When it's right for one camera, it's not right for the other cameras. But anyway, everything happens for a reason. And what I mean by that is this. Everything happens for a reason, right? Adam Dillard, Rob Sherman, my dude, what's good, man? Keep up the grind. Yeah, absolutely, Adam. I hope I was talking about the right Rob Sherman. But in any case, so I'm on my way to Washington, D.C. for this conference. I had worked myself to death the last couple of days prior. And the reason back then, DJ Ice, what I would do, I would work. If I knew I was getting on a plane, all I wanted to do on the plane was sleep, because I'm still not comfortable with flying.
I'm like that now.
I'd rather just sleep through it and just, and when it lands and say, okay, you land safely and everything. But I've been in airplanes when the turbulence was just so bad, the thunderstorm, we were just floating like we were a big ship on the water. You ever see those shows on the History Channel where they have those big boats that are out there and they get caught out there?
And the waves are almost as big as the boat.
Yeah. Well, that's the way it was on one of the planes. So I just like to sleep the whole time. So I used to just starve myself of sleep, which is not good. Don't ever do that. I used to starve myself of sleep right before I knew I was going to travel. Even if it was just an hour flight or 2-hour flight, I wanted to sleep the whole time. As soon as I sat down and that button goes off and says, turn off your cell phones. Back then they would say turn off your cell phones and put them away and put your electronics away and all of that. I wanted to be asleep and wake up right when I heard that plane, hit the ground. So I would starve myself of sleep. Not a good idea. Don't ever do that. And I'll tell you why in just as we get a little bit further into the show. But so I go to the airport, check my bags, get to the gate, and I'm told that the flight was delayed 2 hours. So I thought to myself, I said, I haven't seen my mother all week, and this was on a Tuesday night. Hadn't seen my mother all week, so I said, well, let me just go, and instead of going home and going to sleep, let me go over Mama's and take a power nap, because surely I won't oversleep over there. I'll tell her I've got a plane to catch, and she's going to wake me up, and yada yada. So I get over there and I tell her about these abdominal pains that I'm having. I said, I'm having these abdominal pain, and she said, well, you need to go to the doctor. And I said, well, you know what, Mom, I think that's just a side effect from the hernia surgery I just had less than a month ago, and I think that's what that is, and so I'm not really worried about it. I mean, I think that's what they were doing down there, and that pain is normal. And she said, well, the pain probably is not normal. You probably need to go see a doctor. So I take my power nap, and this was a horrible pain in my stomach. It was kind of like the pain you have when you eat a sugar daddy, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, a mayonnaise sandwich, and drink some Kool-Aid with too much sugar in it. You remember those days, DJ Ice?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it felt like in my stomach. Like all this stuff was just churning and turning. And so I said, I need to go. I said, I don't know what this is. So in any case, make a long story short, my mother just berated me and said, you need to go see a doctor. You need to go see a doctor. But she said something that resonated with me. She said, wherever it is you're going and whatever you're going to do, though some of those organizations you're going to speak for and speak to, they've been around for so many years. They can do whatever they need to do without you. Of course, I didn't believe that. But they actually got along without me because I never made the trip. So what happened was this. What happened was I decided to give in to my mom. Mom knows best. So what I decided to do, I decided to go to the hospital. I said, I'm going to go to the emergency room. I called my assistant that was going to assist me in D.C., and I said, hey, listen, Jay, I need to let you know that I'm not coming tonight. My flight is, tell everybody the flight is, and you know, the executive director, I said the flight is not going to get, I'm going to take a later flight, but I'll be there. I'm going to catch a later flight tonight. That's what I thought. So in any case, long story short, what happened was I get to the emergency room, and 1 hour turns into 3 hours, 3 hours turns into 6 hours, 6 hours turn into 7 hours. And I called Jay again, my assistant, and actually my vice president. And I said to him, I said, Jay, I think I'm going to be there tomorrow. I won't make it tonight. I'll be there tomorrow. He said, okay. But this is all because that flight was delayed 2 hours. All because that flight was delayed 2 hours. No other reason. So what happened was, basically they ended up keeping me for 2 weeks running tests. And the final test before I was ready to walk out of that hospital, the doctor came in and said, we're going to run one final test. He said, we're just going to check something just to make sure you don't have cancer. Well, I knew I didn't have cancer, right? Because it doesn't run in our family. And I thought to myself, okay, well, once they run this damn test, I'm going to be out of here. I know I'm going to be out of here. And, of course, Lord and behold, they ran the test, and he showed me this x-ray, and he said this stuff is spread across your body, through your body. The stage that it is in stage 4. Now, understand that when you never have cancer, you have no idea what these stages are. I thought stage 4 was a good stage.
Like the how they when they say murder 1, murder 2,
murder 2, 3, yeah, like assault 4, assault 1. Assault 1 is the worst. Assault 4 is the lesser. Is a misdemeanor. Assault 1 is the one that would give you 20 years, you know. And so this is stage 4. I didn't know what the hell stage 4 was until, you know, I just started reading, you know, with my inquisitive mind. I just started reading. What is this stuff about stage 4? I mean, I had heard it before. I heard people say that they had stage 4 cancer, but then I got to thinking, and it was just like everybody that I had ever heard of that had stage 4 cancer was gone. They're not here anymore.
Yeah, they
right?
Didn't get to stage 5.
Right. So I was just like, okay, so maybe this is some serious stuff. So anyway, he said I had stage 4 cancer, and the doctor at the time said, you know, listen, I could get it for you. You know, just be patient. I could get it. I got some aggressive chemo, but it's gonna be something. The chemo was crazy. I would tell you the chemotherapy was crazy. I know that they have some more drugs out now and some more ways and more approaches to getting cancer, but I would tell you going through chemotherapy is the worst thing. I would not wish that on my worst enemy. Well, maybe one. Maybe one. I wish no. But yeah, maybe one. But nobody else. But just one person I probably would, you know, because my Christian values say, you know, don't do that. I probably wouldn't wish it on him either. Love thy neighbor. Actually,
love thy neighbor.
Yeah. Love thy neighbor, and I almost said something else, but I'm getting away from profanity and vulgarity. But in any case, but I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and having that stage 4 cancer, I was told about the treatment options, and the more I read about it, the more scared I got. It was just like, oh my God, you know, I could die from this stuff. My son was in elementary school at the time. My daughter had just started high school, and I was just like, oh my God, what am I? Yeah, I'm sorry, Phyllis. Yeah, this is. Yeah, well, you're gonna hear it now. That's right, Alina. I agree with you. The prayers of the righteous availeth much. So glad God answered our prayers. Plus, you had a praying mother. I know the rest of that it says mother. I'm too far away to. I did. I really did. And I know the church prayed for me, and I appreciate all of that. And that's why I'm so loyal to the church today. But I would tell you that the chemotherapy was just horrible. I mean, the drugs that they were pumping in. And you know what was funny? The nurses routinely would come into my room. I think I understand, no pun intended to my chemo nurses, because they were pretty good. But I think I understand why individuals are addicted to pain medication. Because they would come in and they would religiously say, do you have any pain? You need any pain medication? And I was never in pain, except for one time when one of the male nurses forgot to do some preliminary work for a blood transfusion, and I felt like my heart was just going to cave inside my chest. But that was the only thing, that was the only time I was really in pain. I never was in pain, but I will tell y'all I did cheat. I used to take they used to give me this one medicine. It was very, very strong, and when they would inject it in my veins, it would just go through. I would just feel like a chill in my body, like cold, like ice has just gone through my veins, and it would put me to sleep. So that's the only reason why I took it. And then I wake up, because one thing about having cancer or going through anything that you go through in life that is not really a fun thing to go through, you just want it to go away. And if you could sleep your life away until it goes away, that's what you want to do. And that was one of the things that was my rationale, was like, give me some more medicine, make me go to sleep. And one day I'll wake up and this stuff will be gone, and I'll be gone. I mean, I won't be gone, but I'll be gone out of the hospital. Is what I'm saying.
Going back home.
But anyway, one of the other things, I'm gonna tell you this before we go to our next break, DJ Ice. One of the other things that was very, very interesting about this thing with cancer was that they had my bed setting in a place that I used to have to look at this when I wake up, and before I went to sleep, I would have had to see this whiteboard. And on the whiteboard, they would write on, the nurses would come in and write on what your blood levels were. Were they high, were they low. If they were so high, you were able to leave the hospital and take a break for a couple of weeks, then come back. If they were so low, then you couldn't leave. You had to stay there. And because basically what the chemo does is just drains all of your blood, your white blood count down to almost 000. Then they take it back up. And it was a needle probably the size of this pen that they would stick in my stomach to make, my blood levels come back up and make the medication work a lot quicker that they were putting in me. So it was really, really a testy stuff. But I know we're getting short on time, so I'm going to tell you all a few things right after this next break. I'm going to tell you all a few things that you need to do to make sure that this cancer, that if you ever have cancer, if you ever have somebody, a loved one that has cancer, to make sure that it would never, ever come back. And this is almost guaranteed, because I would tell you that for 8 years in remission, I guess I can say that, 8 years without it, I can tell you that I feel better now than I have ever felt. So this is Conscious Fever, 97thebeatfm.com. I'm Karl Price, your host. We'll be right back right after this break.
You can't handle the truth.
You have a story to tell, and your story could be intimate and personal, or something you want the entire world to see, because a tattoo is the most unique and personal form of individual expression. And body art is a master's craft. So when you decide to let somebody draw on your canvas, you need to seek out the truth. Truth's Tattoos have been creating world-class body art for over 10 years, and there's nothing the Truth can't handle. Check out Truth's Tattoos on Facebook and Instagram, and you'll see there's other tattoo artists, and there's the truth. Stop being lied to and book your next tattoo appointment with the Truth at 502-408-8403.
Hey, this is your girl, the queen of cool comedian Kim Vine, inviting you to come hang with us at the Cool People Party.
And this is your main man, comedian Karl Williams, Memphis finest, your Royal Highness.
Hey, yo, it's your boy,
Louisville's finest, DJ Ice.
Listen, every Monday from 8 to 10 p.m., we want you to tune in and party with us. You can hear us right here on 97 The Beat
FM.com.
And make sure you tune in on 97thebeatfm.com. Click on live TV to see us, or you can call in 502-384-6483. Cool People Party.
One more time, 97thebeatfm.com.
And we are back with more Conscious Fever, hosted by Karl Price Esquire on 97thebeatfm.com.
All right, welcome back to Conscious Fever here on 97thebeatfm.com. I'm Karl Price, your host, and Miss O'Neill, my lovely friend in Philadelphia. I'm not sure if I'm going to make Beasley this year. Where is it this year, by the way? Post the country that is going to be in this, the Caribbean island that is going to be in this year, and maybe I'll try to make it. I'm sure it's not going to be Puerto Rico the way Trump has treated Puerto Rico, but I'm not sure. I've got there's an event going on in Colorado about trial practice that I've been looking at going to, so I'm not sure. But in any case, but if you're going, Miss O'Neill, I may join you there at the Beasley this year. I haven't been in probably like 7 or 8 years or longer than that. But in any case, we're back, and because we're running out of time here, I'm gonna go through this real quick. Second cancers. When we talk about getting cancer a second time, how do you avoid it? Well, you avoid it by doing the things that you should have done. Cabo, Saint Lucas, Cabo. Oh, wow. I might go, Phyllis. I just might be there. But in any case, let me just we'll talk, Phyllis. But in any case, here are some of the things that you need to do, and these are just principal things that you must do to make sure that cancer never comes back. Because here's the problem: the people that get cancer a second time, this is the reason they get cancer a second time. Oh, Mexico. Oh, wow. Yeah. You know, Phyllis, if I go to Mexico and come back as good looking as I am, they may think I'm an immigrant. I'm just saying. I'm gonna quit doing that, DJ Ice. I think people think I'm really stuck on myself, but I'm really just joking, y'all. I'm just joking. But in any case, so let me get
these are just jokes.
Yeah, these are just jokes. But anyway, so here are the things that you need to do, and you need to make sure that you do these things every day. Try to do these things every day, okay? Because this stuff is really not hard. The people who get cancer a second time, when they recover from cancer, they go back to doing the same thing that they did prior to being diagnosed with cancer. And you've got to do an evaluation of yourself to determine why you got it in the first place. And I can tell you, it is almost always for one reason. It's almost always associated with your diet. It's almost always associated with your diet. So here's what you need to know. You need to make sure that you're always hydrated. Now let's talk about hydration just for a quick second. Hydration is not drinking 8 glasses of water a day, because some of the damn water, if you're in Flint, is not good for you anyway. If you're in Louisiana, it's not good for you anyway. But you need to hydrate yourself. How do you hydrate yourself? Let me tell you how I hydrate myself today. I drink pressed coconut water. Go to your grocery store, look for pressed coconut water. Or if you live in Florida, quit letting those live coconuts fall out of the tree. Pick them up, get you a spear, stick a spear in, and go inside and drain that water and drink that water. That will keep you hydrated for almost 36 hours without doing nothing more. Trust me. Natural coconut water. And that's why the apes in the trees and all those animals in the trees in the Amazon and the Himalayas, that's why they thrive off coconut, because of the medicinal properties that it has, but primarily hydration. If you want to drink a lot of water, drink high alkaline water. Okay, don't just drink any water. Try to stay away from the faucet water. Drink high alkaline water. That will keep you hydrated. The other main thing that will keep you hydrated, this is something that I do, and I want to share this with you all. Find yourself a nice seedless watermelon from a credible country. Don't just take a watermelon from any country. Cut that watermelon up and juice it. That watermelon juice will keep you so hydrated. It would be amazing. And guys and girls, now, I don't know about the women, but I can only assume that this applies to the women also. But guys, let me tell you, you know that you have an issue with hydration when your urine is dark yellow. If your urine is dark yellow, it is getting rid of impurities in your body. When you're hydrated, your urine would be a light yellow. And if it is a light yellow, you're hydrated. You probably don't need to do anything different. But that's number one. Make sure you are always hydrated, not just in the warm months. Like it's like 95, 96 degrees here, heat index of over 106, 107. Don't wait until then to hydrate yourself. Hydrate yourself every day. That's number one. Number two, this is simple thing. Yeah, same for women, Miss Thompson. I agree. Here's something very simple. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. Every time you touch something, and I don't mean that, keep a sink, DJ Ice, right next to you. I don't mean that. But what I mean is this, is that when you get to a stopping point, when you think about your family, when you think about somebody you care about, when you think about a pet, when you think about something that maybe you forgot to do, when you think about what you're going to do with your car, anything when you think about it's time to get something to eat, wash your hands. Just out of the blue, just wash your hands. And if your fingernails are not clear and they're not growing, if your fingernails have dirt in it, that's bacteria. But you need to wash your hands. Let me tell you, there are people that we live around every day that goes into the bathroom and come out and do not wash their hands.
Yuck.
Period. And when you shake their hand, I'm in a profession where all we do is we see one another and we shake our hands. Hey, Karl, how you doing? How you doing? And the first thing I think about when I shake some people's hands, is that damn, I hope he washed his hands.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because when I get back to a stopping point, I'm going to wash my hands. But there's one guy that I see a lot in my profession, and I don't shake his hands. You know why I don't shake his hands? Because I have been passing him in the bathroom.
And he didn't wash his hands.
And he doesn't wash his hands.
Oh, no.
And I said,
he don't even get a fist bump.
Well, he gets a fist bump. That's what he gets. And he just thinks I'm being cool with him. But I'm just giving him a fist bump because I want to stay healthy, because I don't want his germs. So number two,
fist pump for me.
Yeah, I just give him a fist bump. But wash your hands. Trust me, if you count every day, everybody you touch and everything you touch, when you get to 10 or when you get to 5, say, hold on, I touched 5 things already. I'm going to go wash my hands. You should do that. Trust me, that will keep you healthy. Because what happens is when you touch all of this stuff and everybody, and before you know it, you're eating a piece of cake or a cracker or something. Guess what you're doing? You're putting those germs on there. Now, understand, I get it. A lot of these germs cannot transmit that way, but a lot of germs live in moisture. So if you're eating a piece of cake with moisture in it and you haven't washed your hands in about 4 or 5 hours, guess what? The germs that you got from that person and all of those objects that you touched before you ate that cake are now in your body. The problem with that is this, and this is one of the ways, because I was not really good with washing my hands before I was diagnosed, and one of the ways that this stuff transmits is that it builds itself in your body. And over time, over a couple of years, when it builds in your body, that bacteria is in there having a ball. Right? It's hanging out on the corners and saying, it's partying. But don't worry. He's not going to wash his hands. He only washes his hands, once a day anyway. So don't worry. More bacteria is going to come down here and we're going to have a real big party. We're all going to take a trip to Miami on a private jet. You're going to have but that's what they do. So you got to wash your hands. Wash your hands. And when you think about it, everything, like I'm up here in the studio now, I'm touching. I don't know who's been up here before me.
I cleaned the desk though.
He said he cleaned the desk
after every show.
Okay, but but I don't know who's been touching the pens that I have. I don't know. And these are my pens, but they've been in my office. My cell phone is the same thing. Cell phones. I'm gonna tell you guys. I'm gonna tell you all something. Cell phones and remotes are the dirtiest things in the world. Okay, and let me tell you why remotes are. All of you women who don't know this, but all of you women who are married, you do know this. If it's one thing you do when you go into a man's apartment, especially if it's the first date or second date or third date, or if you're just visiting, and y'all are watching a movie, and he says, well, just turn the, change the channel. Don't touch that damn remote. Because guess what he does? He's playing with himself when he's sitting there watching a football game or a basketball game. He's rubbing himself. He's touching everything. And he probably hadn't washed his hands. And when you have a remote and all those little buttons, all that bacteria gets down in those buttons. And guess what? You got it. Remotes are some of the dirtiest things in the world. What you want to do is very, very simple. When you come into somebody's house, first of all, if you walk into somebody's house or their apartment and they don't have any disinfectant wipes, that's a number one sign you need to get the hell out of there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But some wipes. Take a wipe. Make it the first thing you do and just wipe that remote down, because I can almost guarantee you that remote is dirty. I don't even trust my son. My son is there at my house, sometimes all day. I don't know what he does. I don't know. I've got a good son, but I don't know when he's
not washing his hands.
He's scratching his testicles or something and doesn't wash his hands. Who does that? How many times out there have you scratched your testicles and then said, oh, I scratched my testicles, I better go and wash my hands? We don't do that. Mm-mm. Your remote is the dirtiest thing. And God forbid, all of these, some of these houses, they have a remote for the DVD, they have a digital remote for the TV, a remote for the cable, and a remote for the audio system. Wash them all. Women, when you go into a man's house, wash off his remote. Okay? Period. Trust me. It's better to wash. If you're going to do something risky, have sex without a condom before you not wash.
After touching the remote.
Yeah, if God told you you've got two things, you've got to do something risky today. Choose having sex without a condom. Okay?
Give him some instead of playing with his remote.
Absolutely. Before you pick up that remote, choose sex without a condom before you pick up the remote, because I'm telling you the remote is dirty. But this point is wash your hands. Wash your hands, because we collect a lot of bacteria in our hands and our fingernails all day. And when we put that on our food, and when we start rubbing our nose, and next thing, ever seen people just, have their, I saw a grown man one day just sucking his thumb, sitting in the courtroom.
No.
And I can just only imagine all the bacteria he's putting in his body. So in any case, wash your hands. This is number 2. Number 3 is sugar. Cancer thrives on sugar. That's why on June 1st, I stopped eating sweets. Okay? And I would tell you that I have lost on my waist a great deal of inches. And it ain't like I had a lot to lose any damn way, but I lost some. But sugar, the problem with sugar is that when you send sugar into your body, first of all, let's talk about the pure sugar and the processed sugar and all that type of sugar. When you send it in your body, your cancer cells are waiting for that. And you all do know that we all have cancer cells in our body, okay? We don't have to be sick. We don't have to be diagnosed with cancer. We all have cancer cells in our body. The question is, you get diagnosed with cancer where you need treatment because you fed that cancer. Okay, because you have fed those cancer cells. And one of the best way to feed your cancer cells is with sugar. So cut back on the sugar and understand this. All of you people who love to eat bread, when you digest that bread and your body processes that bread, guess what it turns it into? Sugar. Okay, so you need to cut back and stay away from sugar. These are some habits that I had. I'm telling you guys, these are habits I had prior to, and I changed them. And I will tell you, I sleep well at night. I feel good every day. I think I look good. I don't have bumps on my face. I'm not scratching my face. I can grow a beard. Years ago, I couldn't grow a beard. That's because there were bad things in my body. Number 4, sleep. Get enough sleep. If you think you're getting ahead in the world by starving yourself of sleep, I'm gonna let you in, and I'm gonna let you in on a secret. You're not gonna get ahead by starving yourself of sleep. Your body needs sleep. Your cells need sleep to perform. All of this stuff, all this is needed. So I've got friends who say, well, I cut back on, I I go to bed 1 hour, 2 hours late, and then I wake up 2 hours early because I want to get ahead of the crowd. Yeah, you're going to get ahead of the crowd in the hospital line. Get your sleep. Our body needs to rest. When our body, our bodies are just like anything else. When our body is resting, our body is then sort of re-energizing itself, and sleep helps it, help us do that. So if you want to get ahead, work on holidays, work on the weekends, all right? Work when other people are not working, but don't starve yourself of sleep. That's one of the things that I was doing. Number 5, detox. Detox your body. Y'all heard last week that John Yao was talking about how our body would naturally detox itself, but detox your body. Detox your body. I don't mean to go out and the GNC and buy all these chemicals and all of that. Just naturally detox your body. Eat more apples. Drink more natural, fresh squeezed watermelon juice. All of this stuff would detox your body. Don't be afraid of the diarrhea. It's going to happen, right? It's going to happen. So, but when it flushes that stuff out of your body, you're going to feel so much better. And your colon's going to be so much better also. So, but you got to detox. You got to come up with some method of detoxing. And you can naturally detox. You can detox with a diet, right? You don't have to go, but I used to have a friend that, DJ Ice, that he was saying, he used to tell me about how his family would detox, and they would, it was just horrible. He was just talking, and I said, well, why do you need to detox off? He said they did it once a month, and I think it's a good idea, but you don't really have to prepare yourself to detox if you're already doing the right things anyway.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So they were doing this because they were eating bad, so they needed to get all that crud out of their body. So anyway, detox and find out how to detox your body. I'm telling you, that would be very, very helpful for you to find out. Eat more plants. Eat more green stuff. Okay, I don't mean salads. I used to make a comment, and I don't make this comment much anymore. That salads was a salad was for a fat person. I used to make a comment like that, and I'm ashamed that I would even repeat that because that's not true. That's not true at all. Salad is for people who want to stay healthy. But you got to be careful because I had a law school roommate. God rest his soul. Steve, I don't know if you're listening, but I shouldn't have said his first name anyway. But he's a lawyer in another part of the country now, and he just used to pride himself on eating salads. But you know what he would do? His salads would be this high. Because he would put everything on the salad bar on his salad. And I would say, Steve,
like the mushrooms.
Yeah, the mushrooms, the egg, the bacon, and all of this stuff. And I said, well, why are you doing all this with this salad? He said, well, because salads are healthy for you. I said, yeah, salad is healthy for you, but all that other stuff you put on there is not healthy for you. But anyway, so when I talk about salads, you can do the plant through the salads, or you can do like I do. What I do is every morning I use a NutriBullet, and I just saw a report about NutriBullets and how they're blowing up and all of that. So God forbid I'm not promoting NutriBullet. But what you do is you add plant to your diet. Add it to your smoothie. Just get some baby spinach, get some collard greens, get some kale, and just throw it in there. And it's good. What you think is really, really nasty is actually good to taste, believe it or not. So you've got to put more plant in your diet, raw plants in your diet. And then last week on the show, we talked about the gorillas and the apes and how they set in the forest and all they do. And they won't, you throw a piece of meat, they'll throw it back at you because, they don't do that. They thrive off the raw plants. And that's why their muscle tone is so much better looking sometimes than a human being. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. It really does. It is true. It is true. You know why? Because when you eat an apple, I'm going to get a little graphic here, everybody, so just bear with me, okay? When you eat an apple, there are some rings around your anus that are naturally tight, but it loosens those rings up. That's what an apple does, the fiber-rich apple. That's what it does. And it allows you to discharge any and everything unnecessarily in your body or for that particular day. So listen, there's nothing wrong with eating a big red juicy apple every day. Trust me, it works. it works because the way you stay away from the hospital is you stay hydrated and you make sure that you are flushing your body every day. I don't mean through a detoxification method or anything like that. I'm talking you eating an apple and everything is moving as it should. Okay? You remember Bob Montgomery?
Yeah.
Yeah, from 28th and Greenwood. I remember having a conversation with Bob Montgomery when I first became a lawyer. He was a deputy sheriff. And I said, well, what's the secret to living so long?
Yeah, because he always looked young.
He always looked young.
Yeah.
And he said, I go to the bathroom every day.
Mm-hmm.
I laughed at him at the time, but as I gotten older, I understand now why he was talking about that. Because if you let food, this is the whole idea behind not eating too much red meat. If you let food stay and store itself in your body, it's just like hanging out on the corner. Nothing good is going to happen because it ain't supposed to stay in your body like that. Imagine taking a piece of raw red meat and putting it out on your patio now that we have this 108, 106, 107 degree heat index. Putting it out there, just put it out there just for a few hours. You can imagine if it stays out there for many, many days, what it's going to look like, right? Right.
That's what your inside
look
like.
That's what your inside is. Now, I know that's a little exaggerated because, our bodies have these natural protectors and, immune system and stuff like that. But it gives you the idea that if anything is stored in your body way too long, it's not supposed to stay there as long as it is. It can only do you damage. So that's what an apple does. So, and the last thing I'm going to say, at least for this time, there's a number of other things that I can say, but the last thing I'm going to say because of our time crunch here is this. I don't know how to really say this, DJ Ice, but don't eat late at night. Now, what is late at night? If you can avoid eating after 8 p.m., you're doing your body a wonderful, 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 wonderful service.
John was saying that last week too, but
yes.
But I wanted to ask him, okay, what about the third shift people?
Well, the third shift, but you know what? Biblically, there's no such thing as third shifts now. So, third shifts are man-made, and third shifts are really, really not necessarily made for our bodies, except if we channel our bodies to be consistent with a different day than what I may call a normal day, because I'm a first shift person. Right? And that's hard to do. You know why that's hard to do? Because we're a 9-to-5 society. Right?
Right.
So you may say that, okay, well, instead of doing it at 12 o'clock, I'm going to do it at a different time to be consistent with my third shift. The problem is you don't have access to everything that the 9-to-5ers do.
Right.
So that's the problem. And I'm not saying if you work third shift, you're the devil or anything like that. What I'm saying is that third shift, sometimes if you don't have a good diet regime, if you don't have a good method on how to control your diet, third shift can almost always cause you to be ill. You got to be careful with that. So, but not after 8 p.m. And let me just clarify something, DJ Ice.
And when if you can kind of eat light, though, right?
Right, you can kind of eat light,
maybe a smoothie or something.
Right. But understand this. But if you, when I talk about not eating after 8 p.m., I'm talking about those of us who are the 9-to-5ers. There is a different standard for those who work third shift, right? Because the 9-to-5ers after 8 p.m., between 8 and 10 or 8 and 11. We're about to go to bed.
They can be going to bed anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
And so there is this theory, and there's all this literature out there about, you should not eat sometimes 4 to 4.5 hours before you're retiring for the night. Right. And so that's the whole point. So, I guess if you're a third shifter, don't come home and feed yourself and then jump into bed. Because that causes all types of problems. The problem is it's hard to stay on a really, really good routine when you're on third shift when it comes to your diet, unless you're just committed to it. So the very last thing I would say, I know I said that was the last thing, but very last thing I would say is this, is that, I don't really believe in this ideal that there are people, I don't know if DJ Ice, you remember, you used to be people that said that, well, she's not fat, she's just big bone, or he's not fat, he's just big bone. I don't really believe that. No, because if you do an X-ray of me,
everybody's
X-ray, is the same skeletal system you're going to see under there, right? Yeah. So all I'm saying is that if you're obese and you know you're obese, and I'm not saying that obesity is bad. What I'm saying is morbid obesity is bad. If you know you're obese, start taking the steps to do something about it, because obesity leads to a lot of other diseases and a lot of other illnesses. So that's a discussion for a whole nother time and a whole nother day. But DJ Ice, this has been the show for the night.
Yeah. Pretty good show.
Yeah, and I hope I've given some information.
Very educational.
Yeah, because people always want me to, and I am still working on this book that I'm writing. But a lot of people want to know, what is it that you do and all of that. And I've just changed some things. When I was laying in that hospital bed, every day for almost 8 months, I asked myself, why am I here? How did I get here? What am I doing here? How did I get here? What did I do wrong? And I start just simply backtracking, because I had all the time in the world. All I could do is just lay there. I was like a prisoner in jail. All I could do is just lay there, right? Mm-hmm. And I started backtracking. And one of my sisters, Debbie, she gave me this stuff about cancer and all of this stuff. And I started reading this stuff. And I said, well, this is very, very interesting. But you can't stop in midstream. If you're going through chemo, you can't just say, oh, I'm going to change my diet. You can't do that. You got to go through the chemo and get back to where you were before. But once you get there, you have to evaluate and examine what you've been doing for the last several years of your life. And once you do that, you're going to pick up on some things and say, you know what, this did not work, right? It's kind of like, I don't know, I had an example when I was thinking about this topic a couple of days ago. I had an example of somebody who just simply goes to a restaurant and there's a bug in their food, and they go back to the restaurant and says, there's a bug in my food, I don't want this. And the restaurant says, oh, we can replace that. Why the hell would you take it?
I just
right?
I just want to leave.
Right, you just want to leave. You definitely don't want to do that again. And it's kind of like with our diet. If you're sneezing too much, if you're catching a cold easily and different things like that, and definitely if you've got health insurance, I mean, hell, go see the doctor. Most of there's so many people that work for the city that never go see the doctor, and they've got free insurance. So it's kind of interesting stuff. So anyway, when I had cancer, my bills totaled nearly $800,000. $800,000, and I didn't have $800,000 laying around, so I was happy that I had health insurance and I was able to, deal with the co-pays. But it's not a fun thing, and this health thing is really, really easy. But if you've had cancer, if you know somebody with cancer, don't let them go back to do the same thing. Don't let them do the same thing, because if they're doing the same thing, they're going to end up back where they were. There was this thing about cancer that said this, that if you had it before, it's coming back. It's coming back, coming back. And it doesn't have to come back. You just have to change what it is you're doing. If you're a man and you have cancer, and, let's say like I had lymphoma, non-Hodgkin's. If you have that, that sometimes is bacteria based, that sometimes has a lot to do with your diet. You just have to tell your wife, we need to change my diet. Mm-hmm. I really just need to quit feeding me what you were feeding me before, change the diet to something else. And of course, I can get into a whole different discussion about foods high in antioxidants and different things like that. But I'm going to save that for when John Yah comes back, and we'll do that. So in any case, Nathan Blandford, you said, can't wait to read the book. I always have had interest in cancer treatment after my mother died. Let's see, when I was 13 years old, always made me mad. 44 years old, non-smoker, non-drinker, and thin. Yeah. I can tell you, we've been told many times, Nathan, that it had everything to do with smoking and all of that, and I can tell you that's just part of it. I can spend all night talking about the FDA standards and how they're really not standards. They're only standards for economic reasons and for commercial reasons, right? So when you see a commercial on TV, for instance, Nathan, and it says that 100% natural, it's not really 100% natural. Very few things are 100% natural unless you're pulling them out of the ground in your backyard, okay? But they are able to say it is all natural if it's at least 51%, because that is the FDA standard. Yeah, a lot of that stuff. Anyway, don't have time to do that. But this has been Conscious Fever. I am Karl Price. I was Karl Price before I came on this show. I was Karl Price doing this show. I'll be Karl Price after this show. This is 97thebeatfm.com. You've been listening to Conscious Fever on this show. Thanks for joining me. I will return next week, I think. What is this? This is 5th. So I'll return on the 12th next week.
Before the trip.
Yeah, before the trip. Before the trip. So anyway, to Tennessee, Mr. Freeman, I'm going to be coming down in your neck of the woods to Gatlinburg. If you're close, come on by, join the party. But in any case, this is Conscious Fever, 97thebeatfm.com. I'm Karl Price, your host. Go out and enjoy the night. And once again, if you don't have a church home and you want to join us at Oak Grove Missionary Baptist Church on the corner of 41st and Vermont, please do so Sunday morning, 11 a.m. If you're really hyped about it, you can join us Sunday school at 9:30 a.m. This is Conscious Fever, 97thebeatfm.com. Have a wonderful week. Good night.
You are listening to Conscious Fever, hosted by Karl Price on 97thebeatfm.com.
Hey, this is your girl, the queen of cool comedian Kim Vine, inviting you to come hang with us at the Cool People Party.
And this is your main man, comedian Karl Williams, Memphis finest, your Royal Highness.
Hey, yo, it's your boy,
Louisville's finest, DJ Ice.
Listen, every Monday from 8 to 10 p.m., we want you to tune in and party with us. You can hear us right here on 97 The Beat
FM.com.
And make sure you tune in on 97thebeatfm.com. Click on live TV to see us, or you can call in 502-384-6483. Cool People Party.
One more time, 97thebeatfm.com.
Pockets deep, I got it all. Follow me, shoot off the draw. Shot the scene down at the mall. Roll my weed, only using raw. Talk big dreams, you talking small. Rocket League, pass me the ball. No stopping me, don't waste a call. Taking it all, best believe that I will not ever stop. Indie cutting this bitch, you see we hard. I make success, doesn't matter my cards. All of them bitches I just disregard. I'm about morals, give a fuck about cars. I'm going on tour, I shoot for the stars. You may not know us, but you'll see who we are. Indie cut, indie cut, indie cut. It's in the cut, hit the cut. Boy, Hindi what, KP. Bitch, it's ICET and the IV, and I squeeze the button. And I'm puffing, I'm green, getting harder to see. And just know that they mean mugging. Stick on the king like I mean something. Stuck in the traffic, I pass on the interstate. Light of the gas, got a mask in the ventilate. Method is madness, I'm happy to demonstrate. Into what? Hindi cut. We better hop on to get left. Smoking at the drop top, and I pop off to the cops lost. Think of rest, cause I made them make a right on the wrong street. Really, how much better can a song be? We all we got. Boy, this family ties, we got Grammy eyes until we're standing high at the top. It's Poe.
I didn't even write this. Nothing is real if you ask me. So pull out them titties and ass cheeks. I've been high as fuck for the last week, but don't think of that as a bad thing. All that I want is a place to go vent, for someone to listen who don't give a shit. Doing my best trying to hold it together, but I ain't no better or worse than I've been. I'm over my shit. I'm done with myself. Goddamn. Please give me a minute. The drugs that I'm on have got me overwhelmed. Sometimes I feel like I'm a problem, and I know it probably don't help. Ain't never had it that bad, but I can't seem to hold it together so well.